Hello there, and welcome back to the Bearded Peacock. It's my channel where we talk all things Leeds United. I'm aware that I haven't been on for going on a couple of weeks now. I do apologise to anybody who was waiting for me to, appear and come back with a video, but just hasn't been a great deal to talk about. As that, obviously Leeds United were promoted a couple of weeks ago now. We won the league, obviously going on a couple of weeks ago at Plymouth. The celebrations, the bank holiday parade in Leeds City Centre. It was all going off, and there's just been a little bit of a lull now. Obviously, my last video was about Parag Maraf, speaking about Daniel Farke and the fact that he will be the Leeds United manager for next season, amongst all of this noise that was happening surrounding Farke's departure, sudden departure. The chairman has said, for me, that's red. Farke stays and, we move forward with him. Who knows how far we move forward with him, but he will certainly start the Premier League campaign in 25-26. So that was my last video, and there hasn't been a great deal going on there. It has now, rumours are now starting to circulate. I was going to do a video about the squad and should we sell or should we keep them, and then I just thought, you know what, that's a bit long, and I think basically that what will be will be. And you can say that about anything in football, but for me, it's not really worth discussing. The club will already have the plans in place. And will you say, what about the transfers? Well, the transfer, I think, gets people going and gets people talking a little bit more, particularly now that we're entering the Premier League, than discussing who's going to go and who's going to stay from the current squad. That might sound a little bit hypocritical based on what my video is going to be now, but, this is where I'm going to speak about loan moves, who will stay, who will go, and I did it last year. There's significantly less, sorry, people to talk about than there was last season. Last season was a little bit of a, oh, what's going to happen? Obviously, we failed in the playoffs. There's players coming back. Now there's one man that I want to really talk about here, and he's been in the news today with surrounding Leeds United and what will happen with Jack Harrison. Let me know your thoughts in the comments there below. What will happen with Jack? Will he come back to Leeds or will he be sold? And, a lot of people saying, yeah, sell him, sell him, sell him. He's not good. He's not welcome back to Leeds. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments there below. Would you have Jack Harrison back, regardless of what's happened in the past? Would you have him back purely based on a footballing level? Let me know in the comments there below. Because, like I said, I'm not going to discuss the squad, the current squad, who's going to go, who's going to stay, because, like I said, I think it's a bit of a moot point. But, considering the players coming back, that's a little bit more tantalising, a little bit more interesting. There's, and it's the word on people's lips at the moment, Jack Harrison will probably line up in Everton colours against Southampton as they near the end of their season. I think have they only got 2 games left? I think this is the final game at Goodison Park, I think, at home to Southampton on Sunday. So it's a big game for them. Seeing out Goodison in style, they would hope. You would have thought so against Southampton. No disrespect to them, already relegated some time ago. Although the news has come, hasn't it? Even I don't know when. In the last little bit of time, that Goodison Park will still remain. The Everton ladies side are going to take that as their home, which is a fantastic bit of business, really fantastic move by the club, because it means it can stay in the club. It gives the ladies the chance to expand their crowd, hopefully, and everything like that. So I'm all for that. That's a really good move. Everton will, of course, be moving to their new home next season. Will we be the first visiting side to the new Everton ground? Let's wait and see what happens, because we might well be. But we're talking now about Jack Harrison. And Jack, like I said, will probably line up for Everton on Sunday against Southampton. 71 appearances in all for Jack in Everton Blue. Only 5 goals. He's turning up some horrific numbers this season. Only one goal in the Premier League this season. That came in March, early March, in a draw with Wolverhampton Wanderers. That is his one and only goal involvement as well. No assists for Jack this season so far. It's not been great, but he has featured in all but four of Everton's Premier League games this season under relatively new manager David Moyes, who is of course in his second spell at the club. Any Everton fans who find yourself watching this, what do you think of Jack Harrison? Would you take him as a permanent signing? We know Jack loves a loan. He loves a loan, doesn't he? He was on loan with us for 2 years before he signed permanently. Will he be on loan for Everton for 2 years before signing permanently? I don't think so. And this might be controversial, but I think Jack Harrison will come back to Leeds United. I don't think Solomon will come back. I think Solomon will be sold to a higher bidder. It seems like maybe Marseille are in for him. Marseille were in for him before. Maybe his girlfriend can swing him to Leeds again. I don't know. But, for me, yeah, regardless of what happens with Manor, he will have his place in the history books with that goal scored at Plymouth, with the season he's had, being part of the history making championship winning side of 24-25. He will remain that, regardless of whether he signs on a permanent or not. But I don't think he will. I think, yeah, personally, I think Jack will come back. And it's even worse than Brendan Aronson's situation last season because he's now had 2 years where he snubbed Leeds in the Championship. And he said, hey, I want to go play Premier League football. Well, the numbers haven't been great. I know Everton have struggled slightly this season, really. A bit of a nothing season for them, as most of them have been for as long as I can remember now, quite a number of years they've been quite poor, Everton. Um, but will Jack have a better one next time? But personally, yeah, I do think he'll be back. I think he'll actually want to stay at Leeds because we're Premier League again and all that kind of stuff. I think he's probably got big enough shoulders to manage what the crowd can throw at him, and they will throw a lot of rubbish at him because whether he deserves that or not, the fans aren't going to take too kindly to a player who's gone away for 2 years in a high division when we're fighting it out in the second division, and then when it's all rosy and good again, Walter's back like nothing's happened. I know that some of the fans won't be happy, but honestly, Jack Harrison on his day can be, a decent player. I think he's a lot of a confidence player. I don't think maybe he's had a lot of confidence over his whole time at Everton. He's still a decent player, I think. He's lost his way a little bit over the last couple of years, but he is still our player, and until he's not, he still is. So, I don't think he'll go out on loan again if he was to move away from Leeds. I think it would be on a permanent basis this time. But like I said, I think he will come back. I think he will be part of the squad next season, and I do think that with Brendan Aronson, I think the redemption arc, as people like to call it, has has been complete for him. Was it 9 goals he got in the season last season? I think he was he was a beating stick for a lot of people when things were not going quite so well. But ultimately, he did all right. He did okay. And Jack just if he was to come back, a couple of goals, a couple of good performances, and people will then start to, you know, potentially forgive him, and just say, hey, look, you're our player again. Let's go. Let's get behind him and, see what he can do. Because no doubt he's lost his way. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Would you keep him? Would you like to see him back at Leeds? And from a purely footballing point of view, would he fit our squad back in the Premier League? Or do we need to look for better qualities? Still only, I think he's 26, 27 is Jack. He's not He's not like a young player, but he's not old, is he, by any stretch? So would you like to see him back? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments below. As well, any Evertonians, like I said, everybody's welcome. Thanks a lot. Marching on together. I'll see you on the next one.